It is the incomparable Mark Shaw. Hey!
Hello, magicians and magic fans. Well, I'm having some roofing done now, so you may hear some noise in the background. So if you do, I'm sorry for that. But in any case, let me tell you a little bit about some of the things I bought on my trip. I was in the Far East and I got to see a nice magic show, and I bought some trinkets while I was there. These lovely little bracelets I got in Nepal, and some bags. Um, Very nice little things. I bought a lot of souvenirs. Here's a deck of Mount Everest playing cards and some bells. And this is the god Ganesh, who is the remover of obstacles. And I want to show you something very special that I got, and I believe it's a little bit magical. What I was able to obtain were these bamboo scroll placeholders. You might call them scroll bars. And I'm going to show you how magical they are and how they work. You see, when we think of books, we think of a book like this. This to us is a book. But in Nepal, I visited many temples and monasteries, and they would read books that looked like this in Sanskrit, and the monks would chant and they would read from these books. So their books look a little bit different. And in ancient times, we know that books were scrolls. And we see in many of the temples these long scrolls. Even in ancient Egypt and Greece, we have these tremendously long scrolls. But in the end of each scroll was what was called a scroll bar or a placeholder. And that's what I've got right here. And the way these worked is as follows. You see, the monks who were studying could actually mark their place by putting the string on one of these scroll bars to a certain length, and that would hold a place in the scroll, and even the line or the paragraph or the prayer. The problem was, since there were two scroll bars, if another monk was reading the same scroll and he pulled his string down, the other guy lost his place. And it was a little bit confusing if you were a monk trying to practice your Buddha meditation and the other monk that you were working with lost your place by pulling down the tassel on his scroll bar. Now, how did this work? What was the real problem? The real problem was these scroll bars were attached in the back. So it's very obvious that if you pull, that even though you have a place marker like this, if you pull on one of these strings, the other one is going to go up, and vice versa, because they're attached in the back. So one of these monks got the brilliant idea to simply cut the string like this and completely separate these scroll bars, and that would solve the problem. So the first monk was able to keep his place, and the second monk theoretically should be able to keep his place. But what would happen is it didn't matter. The first monk still lost his place, because even though these two scroll bars were completely separate and not attached, there was a certain magic involved that made the scroll bars remain connected. Well, one day, the two monks decided, let's pull the tassels down together at the same time, and they did. And then what they found was neither of them could keep their place. But of course, the head of the monastery, the high priest, came, and he solved the problem. You see, he had a special tassel that he kept in his pocket, and when he pulled that tassel, both scroll bars had their tassels come up. And that is the story of the magic scroll bars. I hope you enjoyed it. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mike. I thought that was Tibetan drumming going on in the background there.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of banging and goofy going on.
Absolutely fantastic. Great to see you back and hope to see you loads more times. Thanks, Mike.